What what is going on, Alpha Hunters? Hope everybody's having a very marvelous Monday from a very marvelous weekend. Yes, football is completely back. So hopefully you had a good weekend. My fantasy team did not. All right. Nice gap up on the market today. Woo. All right, here we go. See, we had about a point, about 3/4% gap up there on the SPY. Traded higher there for the first roughly 45 minutes. But then over the past 45 minutes, we are trading lower. All right. So that's kind of how things are going today. Let's see what kind of things we need to be aware of this week. Used cars prices, that's actually a interesting metric to kind of keep track of. It kind of lets you know about inflation and kind of like oh man, it's like a look like consumer confidence. There you go. That's what I was looking for. Like consumer confidence type of metric. Like if people aren't buying used cars, um, man, it is really sketchy for the economy. So, anyways, used cars prices came in at 3 negative year over year. This is a year over year number. Came in negative 3.9%. So used car prices dropped. Now month over month they actually went up 1.2%. So there you go. So the kind of like two ways to look at this. If used car prices have kind of not been increasing all that much, and then all of a sudden you start to see used cars prices increase, it kind of can give you two things to kind of look at. One, there's either really a drop off in supply of new cars, so people have to turn to used cars, or people are getting real tight and can't afford new cars. So, a little bit more things that need to be looked at there. Obviously, one is not really like a bad economic measurement, right? If people, like if new car makers are not making new cars, then obviously they have to turn to used cars. So that's not really like a bad thing for the economy per se. But if people are turning to used cars because they can't afford new cars, so I would say if you're looking at this data point, you also need to look at then new car sales. If new car sales are dropping off, and new car inventory. Like if there's no inventory out there for new cars, then you'd expect used cars to kind of go up. But if there is new car inventory, then used cars going up is not a good thing. So, anyways, moving on. What else do we kind of got this week? Kind of going on. NBA core CPI. So we'll get inflation data Wednesday, along with the energy stuff that we normally get on Wednesday. There you go. Then we'll get PPI Thursday, the typical CPI, PPI back-to-back days. And then, the weekly jobless claims, some mortgage rate stuff, import, export prices, Michigan Consumer Sentiment Survey. So there you go. That's kind of the stuff that we'll get this week. So we'll just get more inflation data this week. CPI, PPI prints. All right. Let's see how things are going in the Qs world. Qs, man, they got wrecked here over the past 45 minutes. They were actually doing pretty well here. Nice little gap up, about a 0.9, a little bit over a 0.9% gap up there. But the past 45 minutes really kind of getting hit, coming back down. Not quite negative, but the sideways choppiness that we had Friday, second half of the day, that's kind of where it just retested into. So let's see if it gets the bounce here, goes higher. IWM. Yeah, I mean, it's got some tops in here from Friday afternoon, so that's kind of where it's retesting into. Didn't really have a huge gap this morning, even traded a little bit negative there on the open, but did move higher. So, honestly, I'd be leaning into, like, if you're going to look for a day trade, this is not a bad spot for the Qs and the IWM. Some of these are kind of hitting into some previous kind of resistance levels, and so you change that direction with that early morning pop or that gap up, and it's not looking too bad. DIA is looking pretty strong. Nice gap up there on the DIA. Nice push higher. How much should we gap up here on the DIA? DIA gapped up about 0.7%, but did trade higher. A little bit more of a sideways kind of price action here. Looks pretty good. I would not be surprised if this continued higher here over the next hour. RSP looking pretty good here too. Okay, RSP, nice gap up, roughly almost a 0.5% gap up there on the open. Traded higher, kind of a little bit of a double top. Could also be, a little bit of a flag pattern, kind of just quickly pulling back there. So, okay, RSP actually holding kind of tough. And that is kind of back to what we had been seeing over the previous couple weeks, not last week, but over the previous couple weeks. And yeah, so RSP holding pretty good, bouncing up into the moving averages. Makes sense. It's a little bit choppy. Now it's got to fight through those moving averages to get back in the bullish direction. DIA, man, look at that gap up there on the DIA. Looking very strong. Okay, IWM came down, filled this gap that we had open from middle of August. Not exactly a strong move higher. It's kind of hanging down at the lows of Friday, but could definitely bounce by the end of the day. Q's lagging behind. Had a nice gap up, but has gotten sold off, which is rather interesting. Okay. So Q's still seeing some weakness out there. SPY gapped up, hitting that 50 EMA. Let me put on the long terms. So yeah, that's a really bad look for the SPY, right? You got below that 50 EMA, then you bounce, and now you retest it into that 50. And so it's like we broke down. Here's the retest. Do we roll over? Back lower? It's possible. Q's, yeah, it came down to this level, or the Q's gonna. Q's kind of consolidated sideways, moved right on top of that 100, and then broke down on Friday last week. So, yeah, I think we'll get a little bit of a bounce here this week, especially with inflation data. Inflation data has been trending down over the past couple of months. So as we get inflation data this week, I'd imagine the market's kind of bullish on it. I don't think that's going to be a great thing for the economy. If inflation's not holding well, I think people are just not buying as much. VIX, VIX, VIX. Yeah, a little bit of a lower open this week. Typically, it doesn't happen on Mondays, but we're also not down in the teens, a little bit higher. Okay, and we did have a nice gap up this morning, so. DXY, dollar bouncing. Had a huge lower wick there on Friday. Dollar bouncing. Okay. Dollar looking pretty strong, the DXY. Okay. GLD still just kind of holding sideways. Yeah, still just kind of, man, look at this pennant that we are forming here. So, yeah, we're getting kind of tight in there. Okay. 10-year yields. Having a hard time. Still just kind of flat, hanging out. A little bit of an upper wick today. Let's see what's going on there. 10-2 inversion. Not really doing too much. Just kind of hanging out. So all the yields are kind of moving together. HYG. Nice little lower wick. Very small day today. Not a lot of movement. Probably might not see much movement on yields, dollar, gold, that kind of stuff until we get to maybe like Wednesday, when we get the what do you call it, CPI type data. LQD looking pretty good, kind of just hanging in sideways. TLT kind of just hanging out, not really doing a whole lot. Okay. All right, taking a look here. See how sector rotation is going for the day. Underperformers, communications, utilities, Healthcare and tech underperforming. Staples, real estate outperforming a little bit. Energies, materials, discretionaries, financials, and industrials outperforming on the day. As far as intraday price performance, I'd be curious to see how this is. Yeah, tech, lower end of the day, kind of makes sense. Communications as well, also lower end of the day. What is this that kind of reversed out? Is that... I'm trying to see if that... This is utilities. Utilities was getting hit early on. And nice little run there, kind of about 40 minutes after the market opened. It actually did pretty well. Utilities outperforming though. Healthcare, financials, discretionaries, materials, industrials, staples, real estate, and energies at the higher end of the day. All right, let me know if there's anything you guys want to take a look at. I'm going to look at one thing because I saw this over the weekend and I wanted to look at it. So, I don't know if this is on the Qs or the SPY. I actually saw this on, but I'm going to take a look at it real quick. Got to go back in time. Got to go back to like 07. 07, go. Alrighty. Here we go. Oh man, I forgot where this thing is. Where is the... Is it this? Oh, no, that's not it. Nope. Oh man. Bars pattern. Maybe this is it. I think this is it. There it is. Boom, boom, boom. It's either this or on the Qs. Shaboop. Oh, why did you do that? Thank you. All right. There you go. So I saw something over the weekend that's like basically they're saying like we're on pace with the 2007 2008 kind of top and rollover action. But as I remembered that this morning, I couldn't remember if that was on the SPY or the Qs. Anyways, let me come back, or the SP 500 or the Nasdaq. Let me go back to. Let me check the Qs real quick. All right. Da 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 da. Wow, we have moved so far on the Qs. Jesus. So far. All right. That coincides with the Qs. That is what I saw. Interesting. That matches pretty stinking close. So yeah, this is about what I saw this weekend, and it matches pretty closely. It's not exact. It never will be. Right? I mean, it's never exact. But if we do get a bounce maybe this week, you're probably looking to probably close out maybe if history repeats itself. I mean, we did have a pretty good drop off there in August on the Qs. It definitely was a little bit more aggressive than what we had back in 2007 when we kind of topped out. But I mean, back then we did have a pretty wicked like sell off there from the top, like over 3-4 days. This is, and I'll be pretty honest, this is kind of jiving with what I was thinking at the end of last week. I was like, I don't think we're gonna just rip lower, but I think we'll get like a bounce. People tried to buy the dip here. I think that's going to be the indication of what are you going to want to do once we get a bounce. Maybe you do close some stuff out. Look to de-risk. And you can definitely do it as you get back towards the high that we just put in over the past, 2-3 weeks. If we do bounce up there, especially to the highs of the beginning of last week and the previous week, and say, hey, you know what? If we wind up getting through that high that we put in like 3 weeks ago, then okay, then I'll just get back in, right? I mean, it's not like you're gonna be missing out on much. You're not gonna be missing out on much, but if we wind up getting up to that level, probably would be smart to maybe get rid of some stuff. Okay. Okay, Lucy. I might add that to the NDX. This little chart pattern, see how well this thing tracks. I don't want to have that on my Qs chart, but you can definitely look at it on the NDX or something like that. Do I still have those on my SPX chart? Is it the SPX I had those on, or the ES? I think maybe it was on the ES, the futures. Nope. It was definitely the SPX. That's right. I think I got rid of all of them. All the previous ones that were definitely jiving back from 2022 from previous bear markets. Did I just hide them? Let me see. Maybe I got rid of them. Dang, that's gonna stink. That took a long. Like I said, that took a long time, but it's not. It took some time because I went back like all the way to like the 60s, 50s, and 60s and grabbed all the previous market tops. I kind of wish I would have kept that now. Hold on. You know what? Maybe, did I put them at like higher and lower levels? It doesn't look like it. Yeah, it doesn't look like it. That's a bummer. That is a bummer. All right. Might have to re-grab those. All right. Anyways, what's kind of moving? Let me get rid of this. Huh. So what's kind of moving today? So we got some bearishness out there in the way of Alphabet, Apple, AVGO, Humana, CVS. Ooh, nice little drop there on CVS. This could be a start of definitely a pretty good trend because we had a huge breakdown earlier in the year. Nice little sideways retest back before earnings. Yeah, I mean, nice little sideways. Kind of looks like it just dropped off, rolled over. All right, CVS. Not looking great. Walgreens, Boots Alliance. Yeah, these guys just look so bad. Just not doing it, man. Pretty good drop there from their earnings. Look at annual revenue. I mean, they're growing. Not as fast as you probably would want, but let me check. That's what stinks, though, man. Their earnings are not. Their earnings are declining. That's why the stocks are declining. Their revenues are increasing, but their earnings are not. They're just getting squeezed on margins, which it is tough. That's Amazonization. Right? I don't even know if that's a word. Amazonification. It's really kind of tough out there. Let's see. I don't even know the main benefit of CVS and Walgreens Boots Alliance Walgreens anymore. I mean, it used to be pharmacy, right? A high margin business. I don't know what it is now. Or just convenience stores. All right, Alphabet. What is going on here, dude? Get your ABCs in order. My goodness. You know that I am not particularly significantly bullish on Alphabet, mostly because I see AI the massive threat to their business as it is, and even if they do wind up being pretty dominant in AI is very expensive, and I believe that is about to explode. AAPL is trading lower, down 1%. Okay. Microsoft gapped up, is trading lower from its open. Okay. Amazon's having a really hard time getting through that support and resistance line around 178.5, 179, 180 or so in that area. Amazon's tough. Nvidia's not looking bad today. How are they doing? Nice gap up, but they've traded down. Is there anything that looks better intraday today? It doesn't look like it, man. Meta gapping up, traded, retested higher, and the moving averages have traded lower. Okay. Tesla had a crazy sell-off on Friday. Gapping up a little bit today, but man, that was a wicked sell-off on Friday. Visa and MasterCard. I haven't looked at these two in a while. Visa looking pretty good. Okay. MasterCard. Yeah, looking pretty good. It looks pretty good. I'm not gonna lie. JP Morgan. Just saw that they were pretty green today. Sold down every day last week. Gapping up today. Looks pretty good. Gonna be maybe a quiet rest of the month once we get past this week. Obviously, tomorrow night we will also have in the States we will have presidential election debate between Kamala Harris and Donald Trump. So that will probably also be moving markets. If someone comes out like a clear winner, you probably see money flow into certain areas. So be mindful of that. So after we get past this week, we might not have much kind of going on the rest of this month because it's gonna be that end of quarter type of quietness. Like we'll get some stuff, like some economic data, but not a lot. So once we get past the... Oh, yeah, we will get FOMC next week. That's right. We'll get FOMC next week. But other than that, once we get past that, then we'll probably just be done. So we get some GDP stuff. Okay. In 2 weeks. Okay. Yeah, not a lot of stuff. Not a lot of stuff. It gets kind of quiet. Exxon, Chevron doing pretty good today. Costco's doing pretty good today. So Costco looks pretty good. Looking pretty good. Nice gap up today. And then ConocoPhillips is basically flat. Chevron is bouncing pretty good today. Trying to form a bullish engulfing over Friday. Kind of like a one white soldier there. Nice. That looks pretty good. Exxon looking pretty good. Morningstar reversal pattern. Look there between Thursday, Friday, and today. Looks pretty good. See if that holds by the end of the day today. As far as major news, what is going on? What to expect from the Apple iPhone 16 event? When is this iPhone 16 event? What to expect from AI packed load time show? Hosts its iPhone event as on Monday today. New iPhones, 10th anniversary Apple edition of the 10th anniversary of the Apple Watch. Damn. I guess it has been 10 years. That's crazy. Wow, 10 years Apple Watch. New AirPods. I remember when they announced that stinking thing. Talking about that with some buddies I worked at the office with. In addition to hardware, Apple Intelligence AI platform for iOS, iPad OS, and Mac OS. The company's fall event is easily one of the most important of the year and helps set the tone for Apple's year ahead. Okay. There you go. All right, so that's going on today. I'd be curious to see all the different stuff that comes out about that. Sensor maker Jeffron eyes M&A opportunity in Germany and North America. Okay. Sneaker maker Golden Goose posts 12% increase in core profit in H1. Is this I don't know anything about Golden Goose. Italian luxury sneaker group Golden Goose said its adjusted core profit rose 12% to 109.2 million euros or 120 million in the first half of the year as its net revenue kept growing. That's always good. Revenues were up 12% at a constant exchange rate. Cool. Why it matters, the Italian company, which is controlled by private equity firm Permira. All right. Shelved its initial public offering in June, citing market deterioration after the European parliamentary elections and calling the snap general elections in France. Okay. At the time, the group said it would reassess the IPO in due course. Interesting. Okay. So there you go. Not a publicly traded company yet, but it looks like they have IPO plans, aspirations. I know nothing about this company. That's why I was, like, well, who's this growing adjusted core profits at 12%? Always would have been interested. Wonder what their business are they after, like Nike, Adidas, or just like the fashion casual that has really kind of taken over. America's Dollar Store. Okay, hold on. America's Dollar Stores are now living in a Temu world. What? Oh, Jesus. Chinese e-commerce giant Temu's meteoric rise has been disruptive for U.S. That's interesting. I would really like to read this article because I have not heard. I mean, outside of being like a super discount thing, Temu, I don't hear like great things. Inflation back in if you know anything about how Temu, if you have any experiences with it, let me know what they are. City CFO investing banking fees rise 20% in third quarter. Okay, investment banking fees. That's good. It means there's M&A and different kind of things like investment banking fees means like there's a lot of corporate activity kind of going on. Recession worries are just one crack in the stock rally. Yeah, there's not crazy amount of stuff kind of going on. I'd be curious to see what's going on by the time we get to Wednesday, since tomorrow we will be getting the. Wow, Exxon's really crushing. Man, Exxon is crushing today. Jeez. Since when we get to Wednesday, Tuesday night we'll get the debates. Wednesday we'll get CPI, and then Thursday we'll get PPI. So Wednesday might be a pretty action-packed day, coming on the backs of the debate in the U.S. and then the CPI data. So, yeah. Other than that, there's not much kind of going on today. Nice gap up on the market today. Kind of makes sense. We were pretty oversold on Friday. Like we got shredded pretty good. And I would imagine we probably see, even if we are the starting of a bear market, like we're gonna see like probably another pop here. But if we don't take out this high that we had back in kind of mid or mid to late August, yeah, that'll probably do it for me. I think that's probably the most significant level right now, especially if we do see a nice little run here over the next over this week, maybe next week. So, Alpha Hunters, we'll see how the week kind of goes. See what is moving throughout the week. We do have some pretty good stuff this week, and then it'll start to die off over the next couple of weeks and get like one or two things every week. Really like one significant thing for the rest of the month. And then we'll be back in earnings season as we get into October, not August. So Alpha Hunters, have a great rest of your day. Take care.